Hi everybody and welcome back to Let's Play Persona 5. And so we're continuing to head through Okumura's palace. I keep getting the names mixed up. But we're heading through Okumura's palace, and then the last part we got our pass that we needed in order for us to continue on through Okumura's palace. And so now we're going back, heading back to where we were. We're going to use that pass to enter the next section because we've, which is up here, and we just need to use our pass here for the chief director, and onwards to the next section of the palace. It's pretty much split up into like the palace is pretty much split up into like 4 parts. You kind of got this first part where it's going through this area to, to get your pass to move on to the next section. And it's all like split up into different areas of like a factory. Like you've got this area which is kind of like the main floor, I suppose. And then there's other parts of the factory like the warehouse section and the main kind of and there are other areas like I can't remember too much at the moment. Like there's the storage facility and all that kind of stuff. So we're moving on to the next section now. Second section. This is quite a cool looking section, I have to admit. So yeah, that's where we need to go. We need to go to that building because it's giving off. Because Morgana can sense the treasures in there, so we've got to head that way. This one is a bit more of a platforming kind of area.
Show me your true form.
Fuck you, Dalek. Yep, kill him. Let's move on. This area is actually significantly changed in Persona 5 Royal. It's made a little bit more complex and complicated. There's more stuff to collect and there's different things you have to do. Here it's quite a simple and straightforward thing, with only a singular real path for you to go on.
Go find a strong enemy.
So you have to, this area is a bit more, I suppose, platform heavy. Let's grab you. But and Persona 5 Royal was changed significantly, so that there were multiple pathways to go on. This one, it's kind of a straight shot. I don't know which I prefer, to be honest. I think I prefer it. Well, I know which I prefer. In terms of the actual dungeon itself, I think I prefer the Persona 5 Royal version of the dungeon because it's a bit more complicated, a bit more interesting to go through. But by the same token, I also feel like the boss in Royal is such a monstrously huge pain in the arsehole that I just, I prefer the Persona 5 original version of the fight. Just because it's not that it's complicated, because it's not complicated really. Yeah, I'm losing my. Come on, drop down. There you go. It's not that it's hard. It is harder, but it's harder in a really bullshit way in Persona 5 Royal. So yeah, I really did not enjoy it. It's easily one of the worst bosses I've ever fought in any RPG. But anyway, we're playing the original version of the game, so we don't have to worry about that. The boss fight is in this version of the game is just it's a much more straightforward and less bullshit kind of thing, in my opinion. Anyway, like I say, this is pretty much a straight shot. So we're now here. So we need to find our way through. Something else which Persona 5 Royal changes. The other major thing that it changes with the palaces is that there are 3 skulls that you have to find in the palaces, which does reward kind of, what's the word I'm looking for? You know, does reward exploration. Because you know, and for that you can take them to someone and basically you can craft an item, which basically does really help. You know, it crafts an accessory with accessories which are really fucking useful. I didn't really use them, but you know, it's nice to have them. So yeah, now we're on the onto the 3rd section, which is like the main kind of part of the factory, with the conveyor belts and stuff like that. And here's that very subtle, sorry, here's that very subtle kind of foreshadowing what's happening in the real world. Basically, people working until they're forced to work until they collapse. But yeah, so this is inside the factory. This is the next section, which is not ridiculously hard, to be honest. It's quite an easy section to go through. There's not a lot of enemies to... Come here, you bitch. There's not a lot of... It's pretty comfortable to go through. New enemies, though. We've got Lilim. Weak to wind and weak to light. Yeah, I wanted to use the light magic, the light attack, just because I can do an all-encompassing attack and finish them off really quickly. I'll be honest, Lilium is a persona which I don't really use. Too many weaknesses. Just not really useful. For me, anyway.
Show me your true form.
And yeah, if you wanted a really, just in case you haven't got light attacks, Morgana's a good one to have for them. Belphegor, we fought him before as a boss. He's weak to fire, so light him up. And he's nice and easy. He's a devil on a toilet. Just because. Then again, Persona... Persona's shadow designs are always kind of bizarre. I mean, later we're going to see Mara. I know we're going to see Mara at some point during the game, which is basically... Mara is a giant green penis in a gold carriage. No joke. We'll see that, but we have to fight Mara actually at some point, so we'll see that particular persona later. I think from what I remember you can't get her in Persona 5, but she is available in Royal from what I remember. Of course it's not that easy. So yeah. Anyway, we've got to head through here. Basically, that's pretty much what we've got to do. We've got to find the control panels for these mechanical arms and overwork them. And overwork them, and once you've overworked them, then they kind of collapse and break and give you like a bridge to cross to get across to the next section. It's a pretty simple puzzle, to be fair. So yeah, you go to your console here, and you just pick the maximum speed. It doesn't really matter which... I don't think it really matters actually which one you pick. But picking up the 10 times speed is a guarantee. I think whichever one you pick, it pretty much breaks, but from what I remember anyway. But yeah, go for the maximum one, just to get it done. And that's why I kind of like this section, because there's a bit more... in the next couple of rooms, there's like timed ones of those where you have a certain amount of time before to get through to the next section. you know, which is kind of cool, and it's a nice, good bit of platforming. That's something I like about Persona 5 over the previous games that I've played. Fuck you! You popped out of nowhere. Which I like about Persona 5 over 4 and 3 is that the dungeons are just they have a lot more kind of
Joker, what are we going to do?
I'll reveal your true form.
fun. You know, they're a lot more.
Huh? That was a little too
There's more puzzles and more platforming elements in order to get through them, which is different in comparison to something like Full Golden in particular. 4 and Full Golden in particular. It's just, you know, the dungeons were randomly generated in those games, and so it was just about beating up the enemies and getting through to you know, defeating the mini boss, defeating the final boss, and then that was really it. There wasn't really much else to it. So let's change. Yeah, so you see it's changed now to change the arm speed. Sorry if you can hear the dogs in the background, they never fucking shut up. But yeah, we're almost there. We're almost done. I don't remember this section being changed all that much in Royal. I don't think it was changed all that much. Where did you come from? Let's kill you now. Get you out of the way. And yes, so now my objects for in the dungeon have been replenished, which is really nice. Including Go-Ho M's and that kind of thing. Oh, look at you. You're gonna die. Oh yeah, did I leave? I left this in because we haven't met this guy yet. This is but I don't know whether this guy has a weakness. I don't think he does. I think it's just oh, that's what it is. He's resistant to everything except Freya. You know, or nuclear attacks. So just hitting with nuclear attacks, and that'll do a decent amount of damage, and he goes down. Pretty easy, pretty comfortable. It's one of those things which I always hate when the you know, you have to face off against a shadow which doesn't have a weakness. It's kind of fucking irritating.
I can tell by your face.
Anyway, yeah, where am I going? Come on, Tom, get your brain in gear. There you go. Let's get moving. We're almost done. We're on to the next section next. We're almost there.
That was an easy win. Let's
Oh,
go.
look. There's another console. Let's use this, shall we? Increase it. Increase the arm speed. Right, so now we need to go back the way we came, but first, chest. Still got 4 lockpicks, so let's open up. Okay, so we got a new weapon, which I'm not going to use. There you go. Something which is there is an item which you can make called the infinite. I think it's called the infinite lockpick, where it's basically a lockpick which never breaks. Which I managed to make in Persona 5 Royal, but I never made it in Persona 5 in the standard one. I think the items just to make it just drop more readily in Royal as opposed to 5. Might also help that the game is just a fair bit longer. But anyway, we're past this section now. Let's move on. Okay, here we go. I think this is the section. Yes, this is the section. This is where we start to have the timed ones, which are a bit more interesting. Come over here, Dalek. I want to kick your ass.
I'll reveal your true form.
That's me growing impatient. Go fuck yourself. There you go. Yeah, I don't know what I was doing there. Let's move on. Keep going. Yeah, so that's the door where we need to get to. So yeah, the hydraulic presses aren't moving, which means we can't go over them yet. And we need to mess about with the pink one. This is the blue one. So basically, we've got a few options. We've got change it to break, lunch, or unpaid overtime. If you change it to unpaid overtime, nothing happens. If you change it to break, then it's a 10-second delay. Yeah, there you go. It's a 5-second delay, which you can't do fucking anything with. The one you want to pick is
What was that?
sorry. Fucking hell. The one you want to pick is lunch. So we're going to click here. I think do I pick on? Yeah, pick on page overtime just to make it to show what's going on.
For real?
Yeah, so it's constant unpaid overtime because yeah, Okumura's a dick unless you haven't noticed.
I should have known.
So you want to pick lunch. So let's pick lunch. And what that does is it gives us it stops the blue ones and it stops them for 30 seconds. So what we want to do is we want to run and head towards the blue thing over here.
I see a shadow.
Where is it? Tom, what are you doing? Run across. There you go, you piece of shit. Right, let's grab that.
See it.
And then we've got to head over to here, which has the pink panel. So
Show
we're
me your
going
true
to
form.
kill this guy first. And yes, the timer still goes down even if you go into a random battle. It doesn't pause the timer if you go into a
That was
random
an
battle.
easy win.
So if you're going to
That's
just
good,
go straight to the next section, then don't bother fighting anything. Just run past them. As you can see, you got rid of the other choices now because they're pretty much fucking useless. And that stops the pink one. So what we want to do now is we've got 30 seconds and it stops the blue ones and the pink ones. Run across. And we're going to run back to the way we came, to where we entered the room. Or pretty much entered the room anyway. And we're going to sprint across. Gives you just about enough time. And that was bullshit. I had no time to react there. But yeah,
Hey, we defeated them. Is everyone
they're now
all right?
defeated. So now we can move on. You can... there is a chest, I think, over here on the second blue platform. Where you can grab some stuff. But it's not really... the stuff that it gives you is not really all that useful.
Huh?
So it's better
You
to
weren't a
just
big deal at all.
shift your ass and just, you know, head to the exit and go to the next section. There are plenty of other battles for us to fight.
I'm okay.
So yeah, now we're on to the final section, which is basically where they combine the two things. So you've got to break the arms, and also you've got the timed hydraulic presses as well. But that's going to be it for this part of Persona 5. Join me next time. So join me next time for the next part of Persona 5 when we will be continuing through Okumura's palace, and I think either next part or the part after we should be pretty much done with the dungeons. So join me next time for the next part of Persona 5. See you next time.